This is Stefan Barros from the campus newspaper. We're here at the COS home pool as they do a meet against Merced College. It'll be their one and only meet here at COS. And they'll be announcing the lineups in just a moment. The first event of today will be the 400 meter medley relay. It will be done by the women.
Oh, this actually looks really good.
400 meter relay has begun, or the 400 relay has begun, and they're just about ready to complete their first lap.
I don't know which one's which.
COS looks to be in the lead by about a stroke. COS is still in the lead by about maybe a little more than a stroke now. And now the second swimmers have begun. It's pretty close between two of the racers from COS and Merced, but the third racer from Merced is way behind. Coming up on 2 minutes now in time. COS still has a pretty comfortable lead. About 2 or 3 strokes ahead. Now the third COS swimmer just dove into the pool, still with a very comfortable lead. We're at about 2.5 minutes in. Now the fourth swimmer for COS is dove in. They're about half the length of the pool ahead of the closest Merced diver. COS might win this one going away. COS is now maybe a full length of the pool ahead of the closest Merced diver, or swimmer, excuse me. They're just pacing themselves right now as they know that they have plenty of wiggle room right now. And the final COS swimmer just finished in 4 minutes and 37 seconds, well ahead of the pace. 11 seconds ahead of the next Merced swimmer, and they easily finish in first place in this 400 medley relay. All right, the 400 meter medley relay for the men is just about to begin, and the swimmers are about to get ready to begin. There are 4 swimmers, 2 from COS and 2 from Merced. Oh, sorry. And they're off. COS looks to be out ahead in this one too by a pretty comfortable margin. They look to be blowing past the Merced divers as they're having a hard time even staying in competition. Already about maybe 5 or 6 strokes ahead. So we got to see a swimmer all by himself. He's so far ahead. We have about a half length of the pool. And now the second swimmer for COS is dove in. Not a whole lot of pressure for the second swimmers for COS, as they're way out ahead. Not having to worry much about a Merced diver catching up. They're just pacing themselves at this point. And we're about a minute and a half in. You can see how much the COS swimmers have slowed down, as they know they're so far ahead that they don't need to risk anything. No use in going faster than they need to at this point. And we're at 2 minutes. And the third team of swimmers dove in for COS. The men are maybe a full length of the pool, maybe more, past the Merced team. You can see the Merced divers aren't even going as fast as they were when they started. They know there's no use in pushing themselves more. And we're coming up to 3 minutes into this 400-meter medley relay for the men. And the first COS swimmer finished at 3 minutes and 3 seconds, well ahead of any other diver, or swimmer, excuse me. The next closest diver is maybe 30 seconds behind. As you can still see, the Merced swimmers are still going. They still had swimmers to go. They're so far behind. And our next event here will be the 200-meter freestyle for the women. It looks to be 3 swimmers from COS and 3 from Merced on this one. So it'll be a pretty big race. And they're just getting themselves ready to begin. And they're off. Pretty close starting out. And actually, we look to have 4 swimmers from Merced and 3 from COS in this race, so it's a little uneven balance. Merced looks to be maybe a stroke ahead at this point. Merced actually now is pretty far ahead in this one so far. The first event that they've actually had a pretty comfortable lead in, or any lead for that matter. Coming up to about a minute now in the race. And Merced still has a pretty sizable lead. Even though the 2 other COS swimmers are doing pretty well themselves. But it might not be enough in this race. Coming up to about a minute now. This race is going to come down pretty close, even though the first swimmer finished from Merced at about a little over 2 minutes. And another swimmer from Merced comes in second, and the COS swimmer comes in third. We got one last swimmer from Merced trying to finish this one out to end the 200-meter free. And finally, the final swimmer from Merced has finished the 200-meter freestyle, and we're about to get ready for the men to begin their part of the 200-meter free. As we look to have 2 swimmers from COS and 4 from Merced, as COS has been fielding a pretty small team so far this season. And they're off. Half a lap through, they're pretty even so far. Merced looks to maybe have about half a stroke lead so far. Coming up on a minute into the race, we're still pretty even so far, except for maybe one swimmer. But Merced still has a slight lead over one COS swimmer. Merced now looks to have about maybe a 2-stroke lead now, about 3 laps in. And we're about a minute 20 into this 200-meter free for the men. We now got 2 Merced swimmers that are in front of one COS swimmer, so Merced is looking pretty good so far in this race. And we got Merced Merced will win this one in the first place finish at about 2 minutes and 3 seconds. And another Merced swimmer finishing in second at about 2 minutes 6 seconds. And in third place, we had a COS swimmer finishing at 2 minutes and 9 seconds. Merced takes it. Merced men and women take the 200-meter free, as the COS swept the men's and women's 400-meter relay. Now the fifth event of the day will be the 50-meter free for the women, and that will be followed by the 50-meter free for the men. They're just getting ready. And they have begun. Merced has the lead about halfway through the first lap. As Merced has 4 swimmers and COS only 2. As you can tell, COS is pretty undermanned in this race. And Merced finishes in first place in the 50-meter free with about 25 seconds. All right, maybe I would have to edit that. I guess that was just a practice lap. They're about to start for real now. I think. And it has now begun, the 50-meter free. There's one COS swimmer and one Merced swimmer, so it's a very small race. And Merced won that one with first place coming in about 35 seconds. Now the 50-meter free for the men is about set to begin. And we will have 3 COS swimmers and 4 Merced swimmers in this one. And they're off. And that was a close finish. We'll have to see. I think COS might have come out first in that one with about 23 seconds. And second place finished maybe about a second and a half behind. Very tight race. And the 200-meter race for the women is about set to begin. they're off. There are 2 COS swimmers and 3 Merced swimmers in this one. Half a lap through, COS has a pretty big lead so far, as both COS swimmers are ahead of the 3 Merced swimmers. One of the COS swimmers has a very comfortable lead now. She is just going very slowly, pacing herself, not pushing herself to go too hard. You can see all the swimmers have slowed down a little bit, because now this race is kind of broken open a little bit. COS is going to win this race by a pretty comfortable margin. As first place for COS just finished about 1 minute 48 seconds flat. Excuse me, that race hadn't finished yet. First place for COS actually finished first still at about 2 minutes and 21 seconds. We're getting set to begin the 400 meter now for the men. And there looks to be 2 COS swimmers and 2 Merced swimmers for this race. And they have begun. Half a lap through, COS is in the lead. Coming in on 2 laps, COS is way out ahead in this one. They'll look to win this one pretty comfortably. COS is slowing down a bit now, as they know they have this race in the bag. They're about a full length of the pool ahead of Merced at this point.
His lens is bigger than mine.
You guys are rocking this too?
Yeah,
Man, you guys are everywhere.
we're going hard this season.
It's good.
Yeah.
Gives you something to do.
COS is still a full length ahead.
So is this like
So we have one COS swimmer way out ahead of everybody else.
Put this up too.
We didn't.
What's your list of like your schedule for? Oh, is this guy live right now? Also, sorry.
We didn't do it because we didn't know if it was
Come over
raining.
here.
Oh, sorry, David is the other.
Both COS swimmers are still way out ahead of Merced. Probably about a full lap or more.
David is our other guy. He's a step. And they like switch off and stuff like that.
You can see both swimmers are getting a little tired now, as they know they're coming down the home stretch of this race. That COS will probably win going away. So very heavy arms for these swimmers. They're having a tough time trying to gut themselves through this. This is supposed to be one of the longest races of the day so far, so it takes a special type of swimmer to do this. And first place finishes COS with about 4 minutes and 31 seconds, well ahead of second place. The second place racer, also from COS, finished about 25 seconds behind, about 4:56. So COS wins this one going away. The 100-meter fly for the ladies is about to begin. And then the 200-meter fly for the men will follow that. There are 3 Merced swimmers and 1 COS swimmer, so COS will be outmanned again. See if they can pull through anyway. And they're off. Sorry, they'll have to start the race over again. There seemed to have been a technical difficulty.
What happened?
So they'll try and get this race started for a second time. Hopefully a little smoother. And the 100-meter fly has begun. We got Merced out ahead in this one. They have a pretty comfortable lead actually, as the one COS swimmer is doing all she can to stay in this race, but it's an uphill battle.
None of us do. We've got nowhere to go but out. But we could go down.
Coming up to about 2 laps through, Merced is way out in front. They look to take this race home pretty easily. And first place finishes about 1:15. Second place at 1:19, also from Merced.
That's the 1 meter dive.
And we're getting set for the 200-meter fly for the men to begin, followed by the 1-meter dive for the women. There's one COS swimmer and one Merced swimmer. It'll be a small race.
Pretty much.
Half a lap through, it's pretty even. The COS now has about a 2-stroke lead. COS still has a pretty comfortable lead now, a full lap through. We're coming up to about 40 seconds in this 200-meter fly. COS swimmer hits the 2-lap mark with about a minute, and now has about a half pool lead so far. COS looks to take this race. COS just keeps extending its lead as this race goes longer and longer. about close to a full pool length so far. As we're coming up to about the 2-minute mark of this 200-meter fly for the men. And COS finishes easily in first at 2 minutes and 13 seconds. The 1-meter dive for the women will be next.
No,
All right, we're out of intermission. We're about set to begin the 1 meter dive for the women. There are 2 COS swimmers and 3 Merced swimmers. Merced has about a stroke or 2 lead so far, coming up on a lap.
that guy runs where he left.
Merced's now building a pretty comfortable lead. Oh, this is a 100-meter free. I messed up. And Merced finishes first in the 100-meter free in about 58 seconds. Second place, also from Merced, finished about a minute flat. The They will be running another 100-meter free for the women, but it's only 2 Merced swimmers. We're about to begin the 14th event on the day with the 100-meter free for the men with 2 COS swimmers and 2 Merced swimmers, so this will actually be an even race, which has been pretty rare today. And they have begun. It's very even so far, as 3 of the 4 races are just about the same length right now. They just completed the first lap. Merced maybe has a slight edge so far. Very even again. Maybe with Merced having a slight lead. And Merced finished slightly first, about 53 seconds. And the COS swimmer finished second, maybe about 0.2 of a second behind.
I have to go talk to get those quotes for drama for the play. It's about drama. Huh?
We're about to begin the 100-meter backstroke for the women. The 15th event of the 24 on the docket for today. And they're off. COS is pretty outmanned again. They only have 2 swimmers to the 4 for Merced. But they're putting up a pretty good fight. COS actually has about half a stroke lead. They just completed the first lap. COS still has a very slight lead. COS now maybe with a 2-stroke lead as it seemed to be extending their lead just a little bit. And COS wins the race with a minute 14. The second place finisher from Merced finished about a minute 16. So even though COS is highly undermanned in this race, they found a way to win it. And the 200-meter backstroke for the men is about to begin with 2 swimmers from COS and 3 from Merced in this one. As COS continues the theme of being undermanned in pretty much every race. Swimmers are still getting ready to take their places. And the racers have jumped into the pool, ready to take their places. And they're off. COS is pretty far out ahead in this one. COS swimmer AJ Reed continues to have an outstanding season and is determined to pull away in this race so early. AJ Reed is about a half a pull length in front, as the other COS swimmer is also in second place. He is swimming pretty comfortably right now out in front. Doesn't seem to be sweating it at all right now. Looks pretty relaxed at this point. He's getting ready to begin his third lap now. Still comfortably out in front as he looks to win this one comfortably again, as he's had a very nice day so far. Continuing the theme of the season he's had. As we've reached about 2 minutes in the race. And Reed finishes in first place at about 2 minutes and 8 seconds, as the other 4 swimmers are still looking to finish. The second place swimmer, also from COS, finishes at 2 minutes 21. So Reed blows everybody away in this race, winning by 13 seconds. .500-meter freestyle for the women is about to begin, about the biggest race of the day, or the longest race of the day so far. As we once again have 2 COS swimmers and 4 Merced swimmers, as the women look to be a little more undermanned than the men's team is. But they have fared pretty well today, despite that fact. And they're off. Merced with has a couple stroke lead coming up on the first lap into this race. About a lap and a half into it, Merced now has a pretty comfortable lead. As we've got a COS swimmer finish coming up in second place for the women. But you can see the swimmers pacing themselves as they know this is going to be a long race. They wouldn't want to risk going too fast and then tiring out halfway through. As we're now about a minute into it. Merced is still comfortably out in front as they look to pull away in this race. Still only about halfway through.
Are you commentating?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
You can see the COS swimmers are just trying to maybe keep pace at this point, as they know they're still about maybe half a pool length behind. They're just trying to fight to finish in second place at this point, as they know first place is out of reach. Coming up on about 3:20 so far. Merced still holds on to a comfortable lead in the race. It's just damage control time right now for COS as they're trying not to finish too far back. They knew it would be tough coming in, only being down 2 swimmers with only 2 to Merced's 4. As they're coming up on 4 minutes into the race. The race actually looks to be maybe tightening up a little bit, but Merced is still out in front. It's just such a long race that it'd be hard for COS to stay close the entire time. And we're coming up on 5 minutes in. Coming down the home stretch of this 500-meter freestyle, the longest race of the day.
That was interesting.
We're 5.5 minutes in now. And first place for Merced finishes at 5 minutes and 35 seconds. Well ahead of any COS diver, or swimmer, excuse me. Second place actually finished at 6 minutes and 7 seconds, so Merced won this one going away. The 500-meter freestyle for the men is set to begin as soon as this one is over. This will also be the longest race of the day for the men. The swimmers are getting ready to take their place for the 500-meter freestyle. We have, it looks like three COS swimmers and 3 Merced swimmers.
Yeah, I'm heading out. It's good seeing you. Anytime you got something coming up, just go ahead and email me.
Oh, we'll do.
Send me your link. Try to
And the swimmers are off.
Sounds good.
let me know like
Pretty
dates,
even
events
so
I can
far.
get this newspaper.
Ooh, nice. All right. Yeah. And remember, don't walk in front of the camera. I said, remember, don't walk in front of the camera.
I can just
runs right back.
Earlier, you were.
COS is out in front by about 2 strokes.
I'm sorry. I had
talk when this guy starts.
Actually has a pretty comfortable lead, with the rest of the swimmers pretty even behind, fighting for second place. Both COS swimmers are actually faring pretty well. COS is actually way out in front. Almost a half pool length. But that doesn't mean a whole lot at this point, as this race will go on for a while. As we're about a minute into a race that'll last about 5 minutes, so whoever has the best endurance will make it through this one. No. Me? COS is still well out in front, about a little over 2 minutes in. COS looks to win this one, going away. The other 5 swimmers are pretty far behind. It'll be more of a race to see who finished second, because first place already looks pretty well in hand. That COS will win this one. We're about 3.25 minutes in to this 500-meter freestyle, with COS looking to win this one, going away. Like I said, second place seems to be more in doubt than first place. As you can tell after the first lap that this was going to be a blowout. We're about 4.5 minutes in. Still no change at the top of the leaderboard. Two of the COS swimmers look to be out in front in this one. Coming up on 5 minutes in now, the home stretch of the race. As we're coming down to the last lap of the race. It looks like. COS finishes easily in first place with about 5 minutes and 26 seconds in this 500-meter freestyle. Now it'll just be a fight to see who finished in second. And the other COS swimmer finishes in second place at 5 minutes 42. So COS fares very well in this 500-meter freestyle. We're getting set to begin the 100-meter breaststroke for the women, and then the 200-meter breaststroke for the men. These will be the 19th and 20th events of the 24-event schedule. Swimmers getting ready to take their positions. And the swimmers are in the pool. There looks to be only one COS swimmer to the 5 of Merced, so this is a very, very tough battle. COS to do well in this one. But COS is actually out in the lead in this one, so it's a very tough accomplishment. First lap just completed, about 37 seconds in. COS swimmer is actually pretty comfortably in the lead. And she looks to take this win home for COS. And she gets first place easily at about 1 minute 13 seconds. Well ahead of second place, which comes in at 1 minute 22 from Merced. The 200-meter breaststroke for the men now is about to set to begin. With only one swimmer from COS and 3 from Merced. And they're off. And the one COS swimmer is actually out ahead of the 3 Merced swimmers. Carrying the lone torch for COS in this race. As we got one Merced swimmer straggling behind. Just trying to finish his first lap right now. Race is actually tightening up a little bit as the Merced swimmer is coming up maybe 2 or 3 strokes behind. As we cross over a minute. Still, COS is ahead by about 2 strokes. Coming up on 2 minutes now. Beginning of the 3rd lap. And COS is still actually out ahead by a couple more strokes, by about 4 or 5 now. COS is actually way out ahead now in this race. As they finish in first place at 2 minutes and 28 seconds. As second place from Merced finishes at 2 minutes and 33 seconds. getting set to begin the final two events on this Friday afternoon. 400-meter relay for the women, and then the 400-meter relay for the men. And the first swimmers are off. As we have one member from the COS team and 3 from the Merced team. Coming up on 2 laps in. The two front runners, the COS swimmer and a Merced swimmer, are pretty close together. The COS and Merced swimmer are still pretty close together. Coming up on the second lap, about a minute in. And now the second swimmer from COS is dove in. The two front runners are still very close. It's just a battle to see who's going to finish first, who's going to finish second at this point. As the third and fourth swimmers are pretty far off and don't look to finish in the top 2. The COS is now actually taking maybe a stroke lead at the most. As the third COS swimmer dives in. COS has actually fallen off pace a little bit now. As now Merced has a couple stroke lead. About 2.5 minutes into the race. We've actually fallen way behind now, as COS maybe about 5 or 6 lengths behind. As Merced looks to pull away in this one. After the second swimmer, COS was pretty like neck and neck, and it had even taken maybe a stroke lead in the race. But after that, the third and fourth swimmers for COS have been a little slower. Now they're falling way behind. Merced now has about a half pool length lead. As Merced finishes in first place, about 3 minutes and 55 seconds, with COS still trying to come up and finish their last lap. And they finish at 4 minutes and 7 seconds, 12 seconds off the lead. The next event will be the final event on the afternoon, and it'll be the 400-meter relay for the men. We'll hope they fare a little better than the women did. COS will have two swimmers, and Merced will have two swimmers represented in the first leg of this relay. The 400-meter free. The final race of the afternoon, and they're off. AJ Reed from COS is a couple strokes ahead. COS made the right choice in choosing their fastest swimmer to start it off, to give him a leg up to begin. Reed is now about 7 or 8 strokes ahead now. He's pulled away. And now the second swimmer for COS dives in, and he's in a pretty good position. Three laps into the relay, COS still has a pretty sizable lead. So as long as they don't, pull back too much, they should be able to win this race. And the third swimmer for COS is dove in. Yeah, they have a pretty sizable lead still. A little over 2 minutes in, COS still has two swimmers left to try and finish this race out and close the afternoon out with a win. Or an afternoon where they fared pretty well despite the fact that they're way undermanned compared to the Merced opponent. And the fourth swimmer for COS is in. COS is moving at a pretty rapid pace right now. Not losing a whole lot of ground after Reed finished his 2 laps. COS has about maybe a full, maybe about half a full length lead right now. As they just finished their finish, and they finished first, about 3 minutes and 34 seconds. Second place, also from COS, finishes at 3 minutes and 41 seconds. Or actually, that was Merced that actually finished second at 3 minutes and 41. But COS still finishes first at 3 minutes and 34 seconds. To close out again, close out this meet. This is Stefan Barros signing off from COS. I'd like to thank Tony Maldonado, who made all this happen, and editor-in-chief Nick Milan, who manned the camera.